Welcome back. It's 35 after 8 p.m. Friday Night Live with me, ST. We're coming to you live from Johannesburg, South Africa. No, we're not coming to you from the Herikwala Stadium. Well, not just yet. Inshallah, in a few moments, we're going to be speaking to Farook Kadodia, Maritzburg United boss. And we're talking about Maritzburg United, obviously, in the spotlight. In the last few days is obviously the massive announcement with a new sponsor, and also the pedigree of obviously the versatile player. Obviously, we're talking about Bongo Kukle Hlongwane, who remains committed to obviously the KZN DSTV Premiership Club. Now, to talk to us a bit more about this, we welcome the boss himself, Farook Kadodia, boss of Maritzburg United Football Club. Assalamu alaikum, Farouk. Welcome to Salam Media and Friday Night Live with ST.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a great opportunity
Jazakallah
to
for
be on.
taking that.
Oh,
Jazakallah. I mean, it's great to have you with us. And I was telling my viewers and listeners, no, we're not coming to you live from from Herikwala, because I do know how obviously Herikwala used to be a lit on a Friday night when obviously you had fans. But we'll get into that in a few moments. First things first,
sure.
looking at the history of obviously Maritzburg United, I mean, 42 years is a long journey. Coming from Peter Maritzburg, and over the years, alhamdulillah, your team's records have obviously been within the PSL. Looking at this partnership that's been with the gift of the givers and in the spotlight this week, Farouk, what can you add to the viewers and listeners who obviously missed out the interview? We want to talk about, the partnership with the gift of the givers. We understand obviously COVID has had a massive impact financially with many clubs, be it locally as well as internationally. But obviously, you've broken the silence on the public backlash regarding the multi-million rand sponsorship, from the Kestrip Umsunduzi municipality, right? Now, the team of choice, you've obviously received and secured, alhamdulillah, sponsorship covering the next 3 years from the municipality, but also your partnership now with Gift of the Givers. Can you talk to us a bit more about that as well before we get into other topics?
Sure. Now, look, I think it's important for me to dwell a bit of the values of the club. When we
G.
entered professional football, it was way back in 1979, and it was
Correct.
in the then South African Soccer Federation, where the values were fighting apartheid. And, it was a huge struggle because there's no income coming to the league at that time. But the main objective was to fight for democracy. And as time went along, the club brand got stronger, and we moved on. I was out of football for a few years, and then in the early part of 2004, we were approached to get a PSL team or get a team in the NSL first, and we need to make use of the stadium at Maritzburg. And the main objective then was to come back, especially after we just passed the stage of democracy, was to promote social cohesion and nation building. And that was the primary objective. As humble as what the club revived in 2004, it wasn't seen as the uh, biggest financial challenge. The idea was just to get people out of the townships, out of the problem areas, and come to football and diverse. And that was important. And I think the success thereafter, over the years from 2004 until currently, to maintain a franchise in the PSL is not easy without a title sponsor. It has
Mm.
been difficult. The road has been very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's politically inclined or be whatever. The reality is that we kept our vision and we maintained our vision to promote fans at the stadium, to promote a multicultural fan base, and the brand grew on that basis. And we were very patient, not just to allow anybody to come as a sponsor and to advertise the business on the jersey. And over the years, we were patient on engaging Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. And
Okay.
eventually, over the last 4 weeks, we went into negotiations and we told Brother Imtiaz that you're doing fantastic work. You're a local-based company, really a local-based club. I think there is a cohesion here, and it's important for
Yes.
us to share this cohesion. And obviously, from the sporting fraternity to advertise for the gift of the givers, it's a massive boost. And more than anything else, the reality is that people don't understand there's no financial exchanges here. Gift
Right.
of the givers obviously needs a financial aid themselves to do all the work that they need to embark on. And we as a club decided that, look, I think the partnership where we're sharing the common identities between Gift of the Givers and Maritzburg United will give both parties the exposure that we fully deserved, and more especially the
So
football club.
would you say there's a two-way benefit here? If you're saying there's no money exchange, the important thing that I can see you focusing on is a two-way benefit. One is the team needs to get the support and recognition to allow Gift of the Givers outreach to sport fraternity, being football across Africa. And the other is obviously, as you're saying, it adds value. People are going to benefit. You basically compounding on a long-term strategy here?
Yeah, definitely. I think, look, we're targeting a new LSM market first at the stadium
Okay.
and locally in South Africa for people that are passionate football followers, and many of them that probably are not so inclined to the name of Gift of the Givers. While Gift of the Givers is an international brand, is an iconic brand, the market that we serve in the PSL obviously is a lower LSM market, but we need
Mm.
people to understand the values of Gift of the Givers. So it's a great opportunity for Gift of the Givers to align themselves next to Maritzburg, and I think this was the whole idea to get the benefit of both the parties.
Now, in terms of attracting sponsorships, and you mentioned you selectively chose sponsors, not just anyone to come and put their brand on your soccer kits, right? Long term, I mean, obviously, you might not be still out of the financial crisis, but are you hopeful that with this partnership, you could attract sponsors to inject money into the club at a later stage? Obviously, you're mentioning the LSMs and the demographics, but I'm looking at it from a ownership and a sponsorship perspective.
No doubt about it. From the medium to long term, I think the long term goal will be to broad base your network, which is important. And this network can only be coming via a Gift of the Givers. They have a huge network globally, and I'm sure over time that the influence of Gift of the Givers will help the team also to attract a commercial sponsor.
Now, in terms of looking at long-term plans, the important thing to understand is to make sure the players are happy. How are you working on this strategy right now to make sure you attract young talent as well as keep some of your star players for a long period?
Look, it's been a very sustainable model that we've been practicing over the years, and this is where that
Okay,
we're still in football. Any
right.
other club, I doubt it much would be able to sustain their own brand without a commercial sponsor. We do a balancing by getting players with experience and promote the youth. We have our own academy, which ranges from the under 21s to under 15s, and that's Slogomani came out of the academy. He's only 21, and we are proud
Yes.
that the night before the launch, Bafana played Ghana, and he was a match winner, and he made the whole country proud.
Exactly. Now, if you're looking at obviously this young talent that you've got in obviously Bongo Kukle Hlongwane, right? Looking at obviously some of the he's now obviously a Bafana hero and he's impressed and he's attracted European interest. I mean, how are you feeling right now? Obviously, knowing that you've got interest from Europe in your players that are coming through your academy and in local football development.
I think what's important for us right now, while we are proud to have the kind of interest on the young players, we need to manage them well also. Many young players, they haven't been exposed to the environment as far as media, as far as moving across from South Africa, the lifestyle changes, the mental strengthening, and we offer that a lot. So this is why we don't really force players to move out at this early age. We believe that a year more is an ideal age for Europe. And if there are interested deals, we will look at it because we would also like to promote the player and to elevate his career.
Now, you're obviously looking at a young player and a clear favorite of obviously the veteran German mentor Ernest Middendorp, right? Now, your speedy forward, obviously, who's comfortable playing anywhere across the front three. He's become not only a undisputed starter for your club, but he's emerged as one of the best youngsters in the DSTV Premiership this season and thus far, right? Now, if we're looking at obviously Hlongwane being impressed, or rather impressing the Bafana coach, it's no surprise, I think, to Hugo Bruce as well, who obviously preach the same philosophy of young players and attacking football. Do you have the same thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, of course. Look, I think it's important that youngsters need to bleed into with experience at their side. If they don't have the experience around them, it will
Mm.
make it more difficult to get the maturity and the development which they require at this very crucial age. And this is why we always invest on a few experienced players to promote the young players. And Aswani really has benefited over the last 2 years with the experience of players that came around him.
Now, Farouk, I want to ask something, right, with regards to obviously sponsorship, as we were talking about. When it comes to these type of challenges, obviously you've come a long way, 42 years, Maritzburg United's history, right? The challenges when getting sponsorships and lucrative sponsorships, looking at obviously where we are right now with the whole COVID pandemic and not having a lot of stadiums being filled up with the fans, etc. How has this impacted the atmosphere at the Harry Gwala Stadium? Because I know on a Friday night, obviously Harry Gwala would be alert and filled up. But looking at how this has obviously changed, um, the whole atmosphere and the whole dynamic of the game right now.
Look, initially, when we played our first match after the lockdown last year, it was quite difficult to really adjust. Uh, Myself, leave the players aside. When I walked into the stadium, it's like we're watching a training match. And over time, the players got adjusted, and they had to fight their own battles. Henry Gwala undoubtedly is our 12th man. On a Friday night, I think we've lost two matches over the years, and we need the fans back. And I firmly believe that the Minister of Sport made a statement regarding the future of fans coming to the stadium. And if that's true, I think I'm excited about it because if fans have vaccinations, that will be the entry to the
Yes.
stadium.
Yeah, I think this obviously changes the atmosphere, especially for the players and the mentality, and also for you, obviously as a club owner and for your board, etc. We've got viewers commenting here. I see watching from Malawi. Big Bullets one, Nyasa no. Well, Daud Lemosfesten, we acknowledge you. You can send through some chaumbo if you would like. Sadek, I don't know what's your thoughts on that, but anyway, it's fantastic to see the feedback we're getting in this regard. Now, Farouk, in terms of the club right now in 2021 in the season right now, 2022, what can we expect moving forward right now? What next for the club? I mean, you've obviously got um, you know uh, a sponsor right now, and you've obviously mentioned the Umsunduzi municipality and things like that, which we've discussed. What's next on the agenda moving forward for Maritzburg, and how are you going to propel the team and the club both moving ahead for the next season and in preps for this upcoming and next season as well?
Well, I think the first thing we need to do is to concentrate on achieving our winning results. We haven't started the season too well, but I believe that tomorrow is a big game in Polokwane against Baroka. That should be our turning point, and to
Hmm.
complete the season in a strong top eight position. That's our primary goal, to make sure that the players are playing with no pressure. When you're fighting relegation, it's always under pressure, and when you're challenging in top eight, players are more relaxed and they give of the best. Uh, then our second goal thereafter is to make sure that we focus a bit more into our academy. I believe that we can elevate the academy by producing at least three new youngsters in the coming season.
Now, in terms of the academy structures, right? Obviously, as a club boss, what is the main factor that you're looking at right now, as opposed to some of your other, teams within the DSTV Premiership League, and how is Maritzburg going to stand out in terms of your academy approach to bring up this young talent?
Look, I think financial revenue is key to make a sustainable academy. The resources, as far as the infrastructure, is quite key. And over the years, that has been our major challenge because you need to have 5 football fields that are well maintained to attract the
Yes,
youngsters to grow up in the environment that's conducive to their football where they are uh, learning and the main team. So that's our biggest challenge. We don't have 5 football fields, we only have three. And that's the important thing that
right.
we need to negotiate with authorities to have 2 more fields. And then thereafter, the academy is a major responsibility because when you take a kid into your structures, you basically his guardian. You got to make sure exactly
Hmm.
that he is safe. He's taken care medically. His education is taken care of. His nutrition is taken care of, and that's important. And that's why we didn't exercise the fast tracking of the academy over a period of time. We grew it from the under 19 league, which we started first, and now with the multi-choice Diski league, it has helped coaches overall to start bringing players from the under 17, under 19 into this multi-choice Diski. That the players get the confidence, and the coaches then start believing that this youngster is ready to come into the professional team. And right now, I can tell you that a lot of our players were groomed in this multi-choice Diski league that exposed them and gave them the confidence and experience to enter into the professional ranks. And this is why I say that in this coming season, I believe there will be three potentially good players that will make the debuts in the professional team.
Inshallah, and we're obviously looking forward to some of this young talent coming out of your academy. Farouk, what are your thoughts on the buying and selling of clubs and club statuses like Celtic and Wits, which obviously come with so much of history now. They're out of this obviously Premiership. Looking at obviously the buying and selling of these and the acquisitions in terms of this and how the businesses are done. What are your thoughts as to how some of these acquisitions have been and some of these deals have been done?
Look, we can't stop the deals provided there's rules and regulations. I firmly believe that the league should be strong about this, that where clubs want to sell, they must not lose the history. So if a potential buyer wants to purchase a team, he must be prepared to do his business from the city where the team is playing from and not move and not relocate the team to another province because the history
Now
of
we're
the
looking,
fans
yes.
and the support
And
that
on
they
this
have.
point about the history, we're looking at like the likes of Wits. I mean, coming with a 99-year history, you've obviously got 42 years, and there's many other teams in the league that come with a wealth of obviously so much of history. And as you mentioned, moving them to another province, renaming it, etc. We can't just let this history of football just be forgotten.
So definitely, I'm only concerned that the value of clubs do not shrink, especially when we're getting all new names coming in, and we're losing that history of support. I mean, rich clubs like Bidvest and Celtic, they had a massive supporter base in their respective areas, and now they no more.
Now, Farouk, on this point about history and obviously, the longevity of a team, would we see Maritzburg going on the same route or not? I mean, because there were, obviously rumors that there were reports that obviously the club was going to be sold, etc. What would we see for Maritzburg moving forward if this type of scenario had to happen? Would there be that type of situation or no? And why not?
Very unlikely. I'll tell you the following reasons. Firstly,
All
at
right.
the beginning of the season, there was some confusion. Media basically threw out the story on a very emotional note, My concerns was that we needed finance to sustain the club, and all we did indicate that we'll explore three avenues. One is to try and attract a commercial sponsor. Two was to attract partners, and three was to see that if there's a buyer, we'll sell shares in the club, which will remain in PD Maritzburg. Those were the processes that we indicated what we'll follow through to keep the club in Maritzburg.
Mm.
Previous to this year, we had offers from people outside KZN that wanted to buy the franchise. But because of our policy that if we sell, the club must remain in PD Maritzburg or at the worst case, KZN. And we won't sell otherwise. And this is why that over the years we had two or three solid offers from Gauteng, and we refused. And if that comes again, we also refuse.
But inshallah, we hope obviously that this does get a compounding long term partnership with the gift of the givers and under obviously your guidance as well. Farouk, in conclusion, I want to wrap up this though. I want to ask, what's your message to the Blue Army after obviously they haven't started so well this season? What's the message to your club and to your fans?
Well, we are waiting first to get the fans back to the stadium. From a footballing side, my strong message from the coach to the fans is that we will continue playing attractive football, and we won't stress the fans this year. We will definitely finish the season in a strong top eight position.
Inshallah. Well, we wish you and the Blue Army all the best. From obviously the blue of Salam Media to the blue of Peter Maritzburg. But hey, that's for another topic. Have an awesome weekend, Farouk Kadodia, the owner and boss at
Jazakum.
Maritzburg United. It's been awesome having you with us tonight. Thanks for taking the time. We wish you and your team and your coach and everybody behind the scenes a fantastic season of attractive football, as you say, and all the best against Baraka. Inshallah, until we chat
Jazakallah.
again.
Thank you to
Assalamu
the
alaikum.
listeners. Right.
Assalamu alaikum. It was Farouk Kadodia, the boss, the owner of Maritzburg United. Yeah, interesting chat, I must say. But when you're having fun, the time just goes by. So much to talk about, man. But hey, you never know. Oven, Kosa, I'm coming for you next. Oh, well, maybe we'll have him in studio. Anyway, but inshallah, that's for another Friday Night Live. Yeah, man, it's been a jam-packed show thus far. Alhamdulillah, we started off obviously with football, with our sports. We then obviously had analysis of Cristiano Ronaldo and obviously the Brazilian footballing players being banned for a number of days with Mohammed Bamji. We had that discussion as well as cryptocurrency and how we can bring it to the Kasi. Some of your talking points. Man, we love the views and comments and all the feedback. We see everybody. We acknowledge you all, whether you're on YouTube and Facebook and on the TuneIn app as well via the Salam Media website. Anyway, having said that, everybody, you have a wonderful weekend. Amazulu lost in the Malawi CAF Champions League. I see that message here. But anyway, Daud Feston, watching from Malawi, we acknowledge you, brother. Big Bullets Football Club. I don't know. Sadek, how big are the bullets there? I don't know, but we need to we need to chat about that. Anyway, having said that, until next week, same time, same place. Guys, have an awesome weekend. Be safe wherever you are, and take care. Assalamu alaikum. Itlawona. Take care. Cheers.